Hello world. Welcome back to cybercreed. Did you know that in 2024, hackers managed to steal personal information from more than 560 million Ticketmaster customers, 30 million Santander bank clients, and heaps of data from other companies? And they did it by targeting one cloud service, not the companies themselves. If you use the cloud, you might want to pay attention, because today we're talking about the Snowflake domino effect. Let's be real, almost every big company loves dumping their precious data into the cloud these days. Why? Because the cloud is easy, it's scalable, and it lets businesses say things like data driven in meetings. One of the most popular cloud warehouses out there is called Snowflake. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry. You probably haven't been on a boring enterprise webinar lately. Snowflake lets companies store and analyze huge amounts of data at lightning speed, all without worrying about servers, backups, or supposedly security headaches. But here's the thing, companies love Snowflake because you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it. You upload piles of sensitive information, run some fancy queries, and call it a day. You'd think someone would double check security settings, right? Spoiler alert, they didn't. Now, here's where our story goes from mildly concerning to full on cyber disaster. In 2024, an infamous hacker group called ShinyHunters pulled off one of the largest data heists ever, and Snowflake was at the center. If you like true crime documentaries, grab your popcorn. So, how did the hackers pull this off? The answer is almost insulting: credential stuffing. For the uninitiated, credential stuffing is a glorified version of copy pasting old usernames and passwords into accounts until something works. Hackers get lists of usernames and passwords stolen from other breaches. Some of these dated back to 2020, so basically the Stone Age in tech terms. Then they try those same credentials on Snowflake accounts. And guess what? Tons of companies never change their passwords or set up multi factor authentication. It's like locking your door but taping a key outside with a note that says spare. Shiny hunters simply logged into Snowflake accounts all over the world. No hacking required. They didn't need to find a secret vulnerability or invent new malware. They just used credentials floating around the dark web for years. And because Snowflake doesn't force you to use two factor authentication, and because dozens of companies left old employee accounts active, it was open season. Let's talk damage, because this was no small leak. Ticketmaster lost the data of over 560 million customers. That includes names, emails, phone numbers, event history, the whole nine yards. Santander Bank had 30 million records lifted, including customers in Spain, Chile, and Uruguay. Advance Auto Parts had 3 terabytes of information grabbed. We're talking about millions of customers, employees, and job applicant details. And just to round it out, big names like AT&T, LendingTree, and Neiman Marcus were also on the list. If your company had a Snowflake account, you were probably sweating. Now for the icing on this dumpster fire cake, the ransom. Shiny hunters demanded upward of $500 million not to release the stolen data. AT&T even reportedly paid a ransom of about $370,000 so their stolen phone records wouldn't show up on Telegram. Because nothing says robust security like negotiating with the same folks who just robbed you. But seriously, how did so many smart companies screw this up at the same time? Here's the play-by-play, plain and simple. First, they didn't rotate passwords. Some credentials were 4 years old and still worked. Second, they didn't enable multi-factor authentication. Yes, maybe it's annoying, but so are data breaches. Third, they didn't keep up with access control. Old accounts from people who hadn't worked there in years were still active and had the keys to the kingdom. And finally, nobody was monitoring these accounts for suspicious logins or mass downloads. It's like having a security camera but never checking the footage. All of these failures added up. Once hackers got into Snowflake through one company, they realized it worked almost everywhere else too. That's when you get the domino effect. It wasn't one sophisticated zero-day hack. It was companies everywhere repeating the same security mistakes over and over and getting burned all at once. Shiny hunters just pushed the first domino. What actually happened once the attackers got inside? They downloaded everything they could get their hands on fast: personal info, ticket purchase histories, account numbers, you name it. Then they offered it for sale or ransom. Some victims even delayed telling customers about the breach because, and I quote, national security risks. Yeah, like the FBI showing up is somehow less embarrassing than your emails being leaked. So, what can you actually do to avoid being the next headline? Practical takeaways incoming. First, change your passwords after a breach. Don't wait for the next ice age. Second, always use multi factor authentication. Don't make it optional, make it non negotiable. Third, scan for unused accounts and disable them. If your Snowflake or cloud database is loaded with zombie accounts, clean it up. Fourth, monitor for strange access patterns. If someone logs in from 4 continents in a day, that's not business as usual. That's a hack in progress. Fifth, don't trust hackers to delete anything just because you paid a ransom. That money is gone and your data is probably still for sale. Honestly, this story is proof that it doesn't take Hollywood level hacking to topple major businesses. All it takes is a bunch of companies with the same bad habits, making the same rookie mistakes, all using the same cloud service. What do you think? Should companies be forced to use MFA? What would you do differently if you ran security for a global brand? Drop your thoughts or your best sarcasm in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns of catastrophic security fails, hit that subscribe button and join the cybercreed family. We promise to keep it real, roast the trends, and give you practical tips for staying one step ahead, sometimes even two steps. Thanks for watching, cybercreed family, and I'll see you in the next one.